have been some behind the scenes decisions which actually played a vital role in the long term success of an airport infrastructure project.
It's not just having an airport, you started an airport. You need to have proper transport connectivity to the city centers. The local market has to be served from there. The premises of the airport needs to be developed conducive to the airport development.
Yes.
The financing is also one of the important.
If an airport is coming, the development of that region skyrockets. If a regional airport has to be developed, what are the factors which make it viable?
Regional airports are not as such viable. Not only for passenger traffic, the regional airports runways can be think of locating the general aviation activities. General aviation in the sense which are not the commercial crafts. Some chartered planes are there, the general aviation flying training organizations are there, MRO activities are there.
Whether for an airport project, speed of development is important, long-term sustainability is important. What would you choose to do?
I would rather say that long-term sustainability of the project with a speedy development using modern technologies.
So from your perspective, how airport and the transportation around the airport, the connectivity projects that are coming up, will help in achieving this dream of Viksit Bharat 2047? There's one layer of India's infrastructure system that never enters public conversation, yet it shapes outcomes more than budgets, timelines, or even engineering. Welcome to the Infra Dialogues, conversations that build the future. Infrastructure isn't defined by assets alone, it's defined by decisions, by how institutions are designed, how policies are framed, how governance works, how land is planned, and how industries are aligned. Long before a project becomes visible, its direction is already decided inside these systems, rarely discussed but always in control. And today's dialogue is with someone who has worked inside those systems at the highest levels of public decision making. Joining me is Mr. Chandrashekhar Gupta, retired Executive Director, Maharashtra Airport Development Company, MADC, a leader who has been a part of building not just projects but the strategic frameworks that enable development itself. As a part of MADC, since its inception, he has played a key role in the planning and development of multiple airports across Maharashtra, spanning commercial, regional, and allied aviation infrastructure. After retiring in April 2025, his career reflects institution building, long term vision, and quiet leadership. So, in large infrastructure projects, what I've observed is projects don't fail most of the times because of engineering, but because of some decisions that have been wrongly taken. So, from your experience of working with such reputed government organizations like CIDCO, MIHAN, MSRDC, and MADC, where you retired, what have been some behind the scenes decisions which actually played a vital role in the long term success of an airport infrastructure project?
See, the companies which you have just mentioned, which I have been associated all my through career, CIDCO, MSRDC, MADC, and for the moment, let's say MMRDA also, they are all infrastructure majors of the Maharashtra government and Maharashtra. They have contributed a lot to the development in the Maharashtra itself. And if you name it, like CIDCO is the New Town Development Authority, which is not only encompasses the infrastructures, but it encompasses how infrastructure is serving the public at large there. So the complexities of the project need to be realized right from the start when you go into the planning stages. Similarly, case of the MADC, Airport Development Company, those projects are long gestation projects which cannot be planned in haste. So need to be looked into from whole holistic view. As far as MSRD also, the creators of expressway, nobody has heard of the expressways in India before.
Yes.
Of course, the decisions there are key decisions which general public do not come to know about that, which you can say generally taken in the board meetings at the
Hmm.
government levels, how the project will behave over a life cycle. So whether it's a regulatory framework, whether we'll support it or we have to make a special policy like that. If you say aviation projects, regional economic hub development, like the Udan scheme is there. The
Yeah.
government of India has envisages a special scheme which is bringing fruits to the this thing also. But then not only that, from the point of view of how they are going to serve the hinterland of the project, it's not an isolation of the project. You have developed a project and commissioned it. It has to send a message to the public, to the city centers, to the hinterland, the development, how it will take place, where the question of linkages comes.
Yeah.
Let's say if you have developed an airport, how it is going to transmit its advantages to the public, economic development.
Yes.
It's not just having an airport. You started an airport. You need to have proper transport connectivity to the city centers. The local market has to be served from there. The premises of the airport needs to be developed conducive to the airport development.
Yes.
So these are the key decisions which plays an important role, where the financing is also one of the important.
Yeah.
Whether they have to be financed involving the public, I mean to say PPP projects, or they are only being financed from the funds of the budget, let's say budget of this project. So these are the decisions which generally public don't come to know, but they are actually taken for a project to be a sustainable in a long term. It's not just that you have immediate demand has come and you have fulfilled it. How it is going to be sustainable over its lifetime.
Yes.
Environmentally, it has to be susceptible. Socially, it has to give the proper message. It must contribute to the economic development of the region.
Yeah.
Another thing is the location of this project, which is actually most important. So before any project is decided, lot of surveys, investigations has to be taken
and
care
the
of.
land also, I mean, huge land is required.
That's what I'm coming onto that. When you go for surveys and investigations, you find out whether that land is available or not.
Yeah.
Not only land, when we talk about the aviation projects, it's not only we are talking about land, we are talking about the skies also, air also.
Yeah.
Whether local airspace will be absorbing that airport or not. I mean to say that when an aircraft lands or takes off, it totally disturbs the airspace, whether this airspace is controlled, whether they are emergent air force activities. So those are things to be taken care of. Then which type of aircraft is landing there, how the runway length will behave. We have to see the profile of soil profile, what type of runway will come. So this is one of the aspects survey investigation which is not much talked about in the we will just get a survey investigation report, then we decide it.
Right.
So there is the core of the strength, which you say that we can say it's a non-visible decision which public do not come to know.
Yes.
So there it has decided that this is what the project is to be planned, how it is developed, commissioned and operated over its life cycle. So it should give a proper advantages to the future of the country as well as to the overall the world.
Yes. So until now what we have heard is, if any area or any region has to be developed, there has to be roads.
Yeah.
But I think with the recent developments that have been taken place, the definition would go for a change, that if an airport is coming, the development of that region skyrockets. I mean, the economy goes quite high because there are aerocities developed alongside the airport, and a lot of job opportunities are created for the general public. Recently we saw the Navi Mumbai airport being commissioned and handed over to the public. I mean, it's a wonder in itself. And the planning, when I read about the Navi Mumbai airport being constructed, it was planned long back, I think
25 years
yeah,
back.
yeah,
Yes.
25 years back. So for an economic from an economic also and a finance and a sustainability point of view also, what has to be the sequencing of an airport project, how the project starts and how it is handed over to the public? What are the steps involved in an airport construction project?
See, as I said, it's about 1,500 hectares
Yeah.
of special economic zone over and above the airport land. So the land acquisition is one of the four most important thing. We first must identify the land.
Yes.
I mean, identification of land is not just like that you go to the site and aisa karke maan. No, we do the proper investigation. How much is required for airport? How much is required for the infrastructure? What is required for the industries to come in? So the land acquisition procedure itself is a very tedious procedure.
Yes.
You know, there are very sections. Public at large is involved. There is a lot of disputes. But fortunately, in the Maharashtra, we had been in regular touch with the district revenue authorities. They had come on the sites. The various disputes have arisen. The government has also set up special fast track courts to do it, and we could actually acquire this land. It's a huge task.
Yes.
Land acquisition can derail any project.
Yeah.
That's the
Absolutely.
situation here. So if you can acquire 1500 hectares of land today, that itself is a major achievement.
So when we talk about regional airports, they only become sustainable, I think, when there is tourism, there is cargo, and there is not just passenger traffic. I mean, there are IT parks also coming in, like the example of Sindhudurg Airport, which I recently visited. I've seen that because of that airport, only before that only it was Goa. People were traveling to Goa, but because now there is a Sindhudurg Airport, there has been a spike in tourism also. So, if a regional airport has to be developed, what are the factors which make it viable?
See, as I said, that regional airports are not as such viable because if you look at only the passenger traffic also takes a time to build on it. So it's not like that we can't have the regional airport. We have to have a regional airport, but they have to develop in such a way that they become over a long period viable, as well as they impart the economic development and value to the region. There are different models where the regional airports can be clubbed on and maybe run on a, I will not say the exactly profitable basis, but initially to be break-even costs. You can harness the commercial value around the airport, mix it into the airport operations. I would call it as a non-aeronautic revenues. See, aeronautic revenues, which are basically on the landing fees of aircrafts and whatever other parking charges. There has to be a cross-subsidization where the non-aeronautical values come in picture. You can develop the retail areas, you can develop the parkings, the commercial areas, industrial features. Nowadays you can have air freight stations. Those things will come and will make a project bankable project, you can say. Once this happens, the passenger traffic will also build on, slow on, and your cross subsidization will also reduce it. So that is the one thing. Second thing, that not only for passenger traffic, the regional airports runways can be think of locating the general aviation activities. General aviation in the sense which are not the commercial crafts, like some chartered planes are there, the general aviation flying training organizations are there, MRO activities are there. You have double advantage of that. First of all, you are creating MRO industries there, as well as your airspace, particularly in the regional things, will be slightly free. So MRO activities and FTO will not have that much of problem to operate. So that's a model which we can look at it. I mean, we have not to be only limited to the passenger traffic. Let's open it out, make our projects more bankable, more conducive for the environment, as well as for the general upliftment of the people. And when we talk about a brownfield project expansion and a greenfield airport project, we have observed that whenever there is a greenfield project being developed, it actually faces a lot of risks than any brownfield project if it's an expansion. But if we talk about the overall, the Viksit Bharat 2047 vision, there are going to be greenfield airport projects, and we don't want it to take 25 years. The decisions have to be faster. So how can we make these greenfield airport projects construction easier or maybe faster, so that people get access to these airports, the public at large can use these facilities early? See, the greenfield airports have a different challenges as respect to the brownfield airports. At least in brownfield airports, you have something available with your land is there. You have to think of updation, expansion. Except if you need some runway extension, there may be small chunk of land still to be required. For a green airfield airport to come at a place itself, the announcement, the day announcement happens, you see how the hue and cry in the general public happens. With land. So you have to pick it from there. The greenfield means you'll have to start from the zero. you
Yes.
talked about this Indore. This is a perfect example of the
Yes.
tourism-oriented airport.
Even Ayodhya for that matter.
Ayodhya,
Yeah.
and if you can see the airports in the deserts north, I
Yes.
mean, you see the Jaisalmer.
Yes.
Jaisalmer airport, nowadays you go to the Jaisalmer airports, totally choke and book flights and Bikaner. They are tourist come, so they are tourist intensive projects. So that's what I'm saying. We wanted to only look into the, yes, passengers we have to serve. We have to
Yeah.
serve the industry.
Yes.
We have to serve the industry. We have to serve the tourists. We have to serve the industrial development. So they have to look. They have to be looked from that perspective. If we want to go for 2047 Viksit Bharat, we have to see the aviation industry. Let me tell you that if I put 1 rupee in the investment in the aviation, 3 times effect of economic development comes.
Of course.
This is a study of International Civil Aviation Organization, and 6 times employment generates.
Yes.
So it's a very, very triggering industry which not only puts you into the economic development as well as your employment is also generated. See, of course, the India is lacking behind that, but now the cargo airports are being also looked into.
Yes.
It's a very good models in future foreign if you go that. The cargos are also there. Krishi Udan, they have started a scheme like Krishi Udan. When the COVID had come, so they have started the Krishi Udan scheme. So there are different models which we have to bring into these regional airports and make them viable.
Yeah. Whether for an airport project, speed of development is important or a long-term sustainability is important. What would you choose?
See, if you ask me in one liner, I would go for long-term sustainability of the project, because you have to develop a project which has to be comprehensive, which has to be technically oriented, and which has to be sustainable over a period of time. Speed of development can give you a satisfaction, whereas if there is immediate demand and there is immediate economic benefits you want 5-6 years it will happen. But over a long of period, the speed of development will not serve the purpose. They will become costlier. Their maintenance will become costlier. They will not be resilient enough to absorb the shocks, floods, environment and all. But if you see a long-term sustainability of the project, they will look into all these aspects, and maybe there may be a delay. As I said, I'm not going for a speed of development, but at least I'm sure of, see, I'm developing infrastructure for future. I'm developing the infrastructure for future of my country. So that is the foremost requirement. But saying that forget about of speed of development, it's also not required.
There has to be.
I would rather say that long-term sustainability of the project with a speedy development using modern technologies. So that has to be a model of sort of hybrid model, I can say. You have to look into this.
And if we have to choose between whether the airports in India should be centrally operated or there has to be a regional control given at the local level, what would be better?
Let me tell you what is the centralization. Why should it have a value? The centralized systems or decisions on these aviation aspects are necessary, because as I said, these aviation projects are not having an impact on the region. They are having an impact on the country level, maybe outside. So there is a necessary involvement from the central agencies needed. Be safety, security the foremost. If you talk about air traffic management, there has to be air traffic management to be done by centralized. You cannot do it at regional level, because when an aircraft selects a route, the air traffic, this route can be from one state to other state that way. So there is the central government agencies needed, and they are also, the performance will also come in picture, because centralized intervention is needed for the high performance airports. But the effect of this airport, if I come to the effect of this airport on the regional, there you need some type of decentralization at the regional level, where you can link it to the local market, you can link it to your commercial express. See, you are not thinking of only airport. I'm not happy, let's say I've done a Amravati airport, mera airport aa gaya. My perspective is longer enough. How this Amravati airport will have a value to my overall region, Amravati region and the state. So that decision will be on me. How I should plan my land use around the airport, where I can develop the industries, the systems which are airspace amenable. I mean, there will not be any obstructions to the airport's activity, but that should I have with me. So centralized performance oriented airports with the decentralization at the local level is the perfect thing which we should look into this.
So again, a hybrid model is
Hybrid model, you can say. But yes, having said that, I would say the Maharashtra government has not only looked into that, they have gone ahead and they have developed airport at their own level. Greenfield airports are developed by Maharashtra government itself. The Shirdi airport was first of the one example. Any state government has developed it. Not only developed it, now they are operating it also. No state has done before that. Till today, the Airport Authority of India is the sole authorities who develop it or commission it and all. 3-4 projects like Mumbai, Delhi, they have given it to PPP. But at the regional level, Shirdi Airport or any Greenfield airport, this is the first exercise.
So moving on to the next segment where we talk about leadership. So what type of leaders excel in when it comes to public infrastructure? Leaders who build projects or leaders who build systems?
See, leaders who build the projects are also important, and leaders who build the systems, that is most important. Because that is the ultimate delivery you get the output of the thing. But having said that, leaders for projects are also important, because if your project is not properly conceived, not properly delivered in time, not properly delivered with the specifications, that thing cannot be fed into the systems. Because the leaders who build the systems, for them it will become job easy if the project which has been built, it fits into the system. It's just like that, if you talk about a network sort of thing, there are different nodes. So nodes are being taken care of leaders who build the projects, and total network is taken care of by leaders who build the system. So that is the system. Now this system takes care of many such type of projects, be it a transportation project, be it a water supply project, be it a the building project. Ultimately, they should work in a synergy, and the advantage of this will be realized not only for the present generation, for the future also. Basically, you are creating the future rather than adopting to the future. You are creating your future. So when you are creating your future, your system has to be synergized with the future. This is what I feel my future to be.
I have seen that systems work, people don't. And in a structure like government, where systems play a key important role because officers are transferred from city to city, from district to district, I think systems play a very important role. So, in your entire journey, your career in the airport field, in different government departments, what have been some key leadership decisions that you took, which our audience can take away from?
See, I take it as a simple one. See, you have a team with you. You have a team with you. You have to have a faith on that. The people who are working with you, you should be convinced. You should be able to delegate the things. It's a teamwork which happens. It. So the leader in my career also, I felt it that way. I have to believe on my people who are working it. I have to delegate the things. Maximum what will happen is that there must be some failures. There must be some mistakes and all. But those failures and mistakes are a part of an especially important learning for your.
Those are experiences.
Experiences to take you forward. So for a key leadership is that you should allow your people to dream and to dream more. To make them excited about the future, to allow them to dream it, to allow them to do more dream and more build it. So that is what I have in a keyword. This is my leadership. So a leader is a sort of person who may not be perfect in the technical know-how. See, if I say my leader, I'm not saying that I am perfect in everything. I knows it. Leader is it. I should allow my people to bring their knowledge into picture, to innovate themselves, and to implement it also. Don't be afraid of failures. But once you afraid of your failures, you cannot progress. So that is the important thing.
And when we talk about, we already spoke a lot about Viksit Bharat 2047, where infrastructure is going to play I think the most important role. MSMEs and infrastructure are the highest contributors to the GDP of the nation. So from your perspective, how airport and the transportation around the airport, the connectivity projects that are coming up, will help in achieving this dream of Viksit Bharat 2047?
See, the 2047, which is about, let's say, about how many years apart? 22 years apart. 22
20
years.
years. Yeah, 21, 22.
So 22 years apart. So if we talk about, let's say, the aviation infrastructure development as a transportation, I will go one by one. For the aviation infrastructure development, the Viksit Bharat already has a vision of about 350 plus airports to be developed by 2047. Today we have about 160 airports. Chain of second airports are starting in the metro airports. We are talking about the regional airports, making them model wise functioning of that, how what is to be built into that. The government has brought out many policies, open sky policy, civil aviation policies. Udan itself is a very big policy which has actually, let me give you in terms of figures, it is about 90 airports because of this Udan have become operational.
Okay.
And about 2 crores people have flown till today, last 9 years.
That's
which
amazing.
is an amazing figure on that. There is going to be about, today we have about 600, 700 crafts, maybe 1000 crafts, which various airlines. By 2030, we will be expecting about 2500 aircrafts.
Yeah.
Now, when you are talking about 2500 aircrafts, where they will be parked, where there will be checking will be done, how the pilots will come, crew.
Yeah.
For that also, the government has brought out the various policy. I was talking about flight training organizations, MROs also. Government has in fact named the MROs an industry. So being as an industry, there are various advantages. GST has been reduced for 18 to 5%. Then airport authority has been allowed to lease the land for 30 years lease. Till today it was not there. Now they have been allowed to lease them 30 years for MRO activities. MRO itself is such a business which will have a lot of value and employment for the country. See, till today, I can say that about 200 billion US dollars every year a business of MROs in India. Unfortunately, 90% goes out because we do not have the facilities, we do not have the land, we do not have the pilots, we do not have the technicians. So that is one of the important areas to capture this business which is going out. We have to give impetus to the MROs, flying training organizations. And Government of India has already brought out in this plans how they are going to it. It's various airports, Thiruvananthapuram Airport, Bangalore Airport, they have taken a leadership, developing MROs in their complex. Indigo is other day announced about 1,000 crores they are investing in MRO at Bangalore. So all these things are there which will make our aviation infrastructure in line what we are talking about 2047. This is what aviation infrastructure. Now other thing we talk about the multimodal connectivity is very great impetus on the, if you talk about 2047, multimodal connectivity is the important feature which connects your whether road, air, rail traffic and everything is connected. And therefore MMLP has been announced. The PM Gati Shakti plan is already having impetus on that. About 35 MMLPs have been announced. I think work is going on. We are talking about dedicated freight highways which are being developed. We are developing expressways. Delhi-Mumbai is becoming expressway. We are developing the high-speed trains from Ahmedabad to Delhi. So these all are the projects which are as a part of 2047, which talks about 10 trillion economy transfer and all that. Once this integration happens, because integration is very important for any transportation. Isolation cannot be. We have talked in the previous segments that even the airports need to be linked with the city center, whether it is a faster MRTS connectivity, whether it is a rapid transport connectivity, or whether it even roads also. We are talking a lot of things on MRTS. We are doing about 21 cities have already been implemented MRTS projects. In Mumbai also we are talking about 2 airports connected with MRTS, in other cities also. So sort of linkages which serves you the logistics best possible solution will give you maximum advantage that you achieve the 2047 vision plan, which is, they say, Viksit Bharat.
It looks like a major infrastructure challenge actually. And do you
actually infrastructure is the backbone of this year 2047.
But does India have the institutional capability to fulfill that dream?
We must, I think that will come. See, some of the initiatives have already been taken up, institution mechanisms where the government has not banked upon the conventional methods of, like, I will take that this project we have to develop it. We have a government company like PWD, will give it to them. No, they have made proper institutional arrangements, the separate focused companies who will look after on these projects also. Like I will talk about this dedicated freight corridors. So they have made a special purpose company for that. High speed, which is from Delhi, Ahmedabad, which looks a focused implementation on that. In fact, in the Maharashtra, MADC has been brought for the airport developments only. Yes. No, otherwise we were looking before the Airport Authority of India, but the government has decided here that I need to have a focused and airport speedy development, so they brought it there. Yeah. So institutional mechanism has started, and with this 2047 keeping in view, they will come up. Yeah. So airports are no longer just transport assets, but they are a major contributor to the economy. They are economic contributors. They will not only shape the entire infrastructure of India, but they'll bring in a lot of modern technology, and the world will see it. Yeah. Yeah. Through this airports only we see world, and world sees to us. World sees us. Yeah. We'll come to our last segment where I ask you 3 questions. These are the 3 most Googled questions. Quite challenging. Which the public wants to know. So we call this segment as the public wants to know, and we want to answer. We want your answers to be in one line or one sentence. So coming to the first one, why does airport development in India take so long despite having a political will? See, there are a lot of encumbrances which we have talked about. There are 3-4 instances. Like first of all is the land acquisition. Second thing is the we have talked about multilateral agencies where you don't have any say on that. Even if you have a say, the decision makers are not you. The approvals, environment clearance itself. That environment clearances, you know about the Navi Mumbai airport, the Mopa airport. The processes were derailed. Like even the Jewar Noida airport also. Yes. So environment clearance is a very, very time intensive as well as a very crucial project. Other thing is the right choose of model, how to develop it. Yeah. The second question, what really delays greenfield projects in India? Land acquisition. That's you are asking one only, no? Yeah, so that's land acquisition. Yeah, okay. Greenfield airports, the land acquisition. It starts the things from there only. Okay. The third question is, how viable are regional airports economically, and what models actually make them sustainable? Regional airport has to be, they cannot be, if you talk about them, they cannot be solely viable. So they have to be linked with some commercial developments, which actually give us insight to develop an airport as a city. Otherwise, you can say the aerotropolis, aerocity. Actually, you develop into a sort of thing that yes, airport-centric activities will be developed in aerocities. Airport-centric activities, hotels, commercial complex, retails, the MROs, I would say, flying training organization, they are all actually not purely aeronautic, but yes, airport-centric, I can say. So they have to be built into the master plan. The financial model has to be such that all those costings as well as the revenues will have to be built into it and come at a figure. Then they can be made as a viable project. Otherwise, it doesn't mean that regional airport we don't need. We need a regional airport because ultimately they are the things which trigger your economy upliftment. So they have to be looked from that point of view. They cannot be as total aeronautical basis activities. Yeah. I think we are happy that the airport infrastructure in India is in good hands, and we can see the dream of our leaders who have dreamt this turning into a reality now. And I would like to thank you, Mr. Gupta, for sharing your perspective on how decisions are taken, your perspective on how institutions are built, and what we can see for the future when it comes to transport infrastructure. So before you go, I would just like you to give a message to all the young engineers or young entrepreneurs or to the young generation as a whole. For engineers, I would say that for young engineers, they should not wait for the opportunities. They should design the opportunities. Yeah. Waiting a thing to come and then we'll do the work. No, you design the opportunities, build it, innovate it, resolve the problems, build your future,
Hmm.
build the future of the country.
Hmm.
That is what the most important message for engineers.
The Infra Dialogues is not a podcast about projects. It's a platform for serious conversations on how India gets built. This series will continue to bring voices from inside the system, leaders, decision makers, and institution builders shaping the future of Indian infrastructure. If you value conversations that go beyond headlines, stay with us. The next dialogue continues this journey.